Hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining. We still see people are joining, so we can wait for a couple of minutes to let them to join, and then we can get started. All right, yeah. I think it's 4 minutes past this planned time. So yeah, I think we got to get started. Once again, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. So we'll be looking at how you can effectively manage on-prem, multi-cloud, or edge resources with the help of Azure Arc. Um, so to begin with, the quick agenda for today, I'll give you a quick brief about Eiling, who we are, what we do, and then we go in detail about Azure Arc. What are the capabilities of Azure with respect to building an AI-ready infrastructure. And for hybrid cloud management, how Azure Arc can help you to do manage your resources across different clouds or on-premise or edge for that matters. And what are we do have a framework, a solution that we built called iArc, which can show you the power of Azure Arc and how you can manage your resources effectively, basically for monitoring and governing those resources. We do have some use cases or success stories based on what we have come across with the help of Azure Arc. So we'll go over that in detail. To begin with, about iLink. So iLink was founded back in 2002, and we are basically a digital transformation solution provider. We are a close partner with Microsoft, and we won nine Microsoft Partner of the Year awards so far. We are an ISO 9001 CMI Level 3 certified based out of India and CMM Level 5 in Mexico. Our NPS score is about 77. The prime industries that we serve are health and life sciences, telecom and media, energy, oil and gas, retail, CPG, banking, finance, and manufacturing industries. Our customers are pretty much around these industries. So we are like 3,000 consultants globally, and we have that score of 4.4. We are around like 20 plus global locations with an exceptional 8.5 ESAT score. So we are primarily based out of US and other parts of the world as well, but headquartered based out of USA. As you can see, we have offices in Canada, US, Mexico, South America, and Middle East, South Africa, India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Singapore, Portugal, UK, and Switzerland. So that's a quick brief about iLink. And just to give you a brief about our client portfolio. Like the few industries that I mentioned about, you could see plenty of well-known brands here who are our customers. We help them build solutions and we help them to do the digital modernization front as well. Moving on, with respect to our partnership with Microsoft, we have nine advanced specialization. There are nine advanced specialization basically from Microsoft, and we have those expertise on all those areas, as you could see, right? So the way advanced specialization works is like you got to prove your expertise around these solutions. Let's say if you ask me about build and modernize AI app, you got to prove Microsoft with respect to what are all the different modernization effort that we have did with respect to AI apps to our customers and showcase them. It will be going through months of rigorous review with respect to how we implement the solution, whether they are architected properly with respect to Microsoft's guidelines, how they are utilizing all the recommended services of Azure or Microsoft, right? So it will be evaluated on all those perspectives, and then the advanced specialization will be provided. So this is based purely based on the expertise Eiling gained by providing the service or solutions to our customers and how we utilize the respective Microsoft services to build those solutions. And we are solution partners in all six areas as well. So we have approximately 1,000 plus Microsoft certified professionals working out of Eiling. And we are Microsoft Fabric database feature partner and Fabric feature partner as well. So that's our relationship with Microsoft, and just to give you an overview. And I think does have different service areas or business units. From that front, I work for the digital engineering and AI business unit. So the primary service is provided as part of digital engineering and AI service unit is customer experience with respect to CX, modern work, M365 solutions, business applications, CMOs, omnichannels. So those are all the experience service areas. From the transformation perspective, it would be app modernization, product engineering, digital process automation, low code or no code, service experience, and cloud and IoT solutions. From the innovation perspective, we have service. We do provide service with respect to building intelligent apps, Gen AI-driven engineering, software engineering, especially building edge solutions, AR and VR solutions. From the assurance service area perspective, quality engineering, test automation, security testing, SRC, enterprise DevSecOps, all of this from the assurance service area perspective. So we have about 1,000 plus engineers overall as part of this specific business unit, and we work with hundreds plus customers around the world. We are presently running about 400 plus projects overall. So that's a quick brief about iLink and the digital engineering and AI business unit that I work for. Right. So moving on to today's topic with respect to Azure and Azure R. Right. So before we begin with, right, so I just want to give you a quick brief on um, the capabilities of Azure with respect to building an AI-ready infrastructure, right? So AI is reshaping industries, right? So by providing like innovative solutions that enhance decision making, automate processes, and deliver superior customer experiences. So to fully leverage AI, businesses require an infrastructure that can support the heavy computational and data demands of AI applications. So the key aspects are the computational power and the data demands for building AI applications. So this is where AI-ready infrastructure comes into play, providing the necessary foundation or the layer for you to deploy, manage, and scale AI solutions effectively. Azure is actually a purpose-built infrastructure for maximizing the value of AI. So when I say maximizing the value of AI, it does provides the typical compute power and data needs that you need to build your AI solutions and run them on Azure. So Azure is optimized AI for AI performance at any scale. So you can optimize your AI solutions performance at any scale with the help of Azure. You can accelerate innovation and reduce the time to market, basically. Realize You can realize the cost and resource efficiency with Azure resources. You can increase security and compliance with Azure. So all these are like what are the basic foundational points that you need to start building your AI application is pretty much available in Azure, ready to utilize and consume. Right. So Microsoft Azure is again a complete cloud for innovating AI solutions at scale. Right. So as of today, it powers Fortune 500 and the Microsoft Copilot experience that are already scaling today. Right. So inside Microsoft itself, they've identified for a long time as a modernizer company. In that, they have added, they have needed to transform a lot to get this point. So you could see. Uh, the way how Copilot is working, right? As of today, Microsoft Copilots are working. Those are all with the help of Azure's power and infrastructure, basically. So to begin with, Azure does have the global secure infrastructure. On top of that, they have Azure Application Platform, which helps to host your applications, run them. And then there is intelligent data platform like Fabric or um, uh, number of numerous other data services from Azure. And then on top of it, you have Azure AI platform, the way you build agents and your AI services or AI solutions with the help of the dev tools, right, that Microsoft offers. So this helps as an end-to-end place for you to build your AI solutions in a unique way with the help of Azure. Oh yeah, the beauty that you could see is with respect to Azure is they are their own biggest customer. As you could see, Copilot is a very good use case with respect to how effectively you can build your AI solutions in Azure. So moving on, with respect to Azure Arc, which is the key topic that we'll be discussing today. So Azure Arc, before we dive deeper into Azure Arc, if you look at Azure altogether, right? So it does provides the required tools and experiences along with the infrastructure that you need, the services that you need, and the security operation governance model that you need, all together as one package, right? So basically, Azure is a comprehensive cloud platform that integrates tools, experiences, services to meet your IT demands, modern IT demands. So it actually provides end-to-end solution for security, operation, governance, services, and infrastructure all in one ecosystem, right? So this is how Azure can help you to build and host your applications, run it to meet your IT demands, right? So what if you are able to bring those available features of Azure to your non-Azure resources? Right? So the tools and experiences built for Azure are not limited to Azure Cloud. You can innovate and utilize them anywhere with the help of Azure Arc. So this is where Azure Arc helps you to bring in all your non-cloud resources, connect them to Azure, and manage them through Azure, utilizing all the features that are helping to run your Azure resources. You can apply those features and services towards your non-Azure resources as well. Right. So Azure Arc enabled services makes it possible to run Azure services on premise, at the edge, and in public clouds. Basically, you can run Azure services on premise, edge, and in public clouds as well. Using Azure Arc, you can also leverage your existing infrastructure, or you can extend Azure to other infrastructure, be it a different cloud service, or be it on-premise environment, or be it an edge environment, which is typically hard to manage or govern, right? So you can extend Azure's capabilities to other environments for a consistent management experience, right? So you can unify and govern secure databases as well. So those where when it comes to governance of a database across different environment, it would be tough to monitor and manage them until unless you build a custom application that can connect and access and do that, right? So when it comes to database, one key problem is none of the databases are typically available for you to run in a centralized place, or they're not exposed to the public internet due to security concerns, right? So with the help of Azure Arc, you can keep them as it is today. It could be on-premise. Some customers, for instance, BFS industry-based customers have certain limitations with respect to where their data can reside, right? So they have to stick with wherever their data is today, and then governing them could be easy with the help of Azure Arc. Well, I'll give you some examples of how and what Azure Arc can help you with, but on a high level, right? So you can bring in your existing services to Azure Arc and monitor and govern them, or you can deploy Azure Arc or bring the power of Azure services for infrastructure, be it on-premise, edge, or cloud, on cloud, other than Azure, right? So like I said, Azure Arc acts as a single control plane, right? So there are two ways of utilization that you can think of, right? So use case that you could think of, right? One is Azure Arc enabled infrastructure. Let's say if you have a specific infrastructure on which you have number of servers running or services running, and let's say I'm giving some examples, right? So be it like, let's say if you have certain machines or servers on a specific infrastructure, if you want to monitor them irrespective of wherever they are placed today, be it on-premise, or again, be it on-premise, edge, or on different cloud provider, you can manage it through Azure Arc. So that's why it's called Azure Arc enabled infrastructure, right? And then Azure Arc enabled services. This is the other part. So this is where you can run certain Azure services on the infrastructure of your preference, not preferably on Azure, but you can run it on your infrastructure as well. So this way you can bring the power of Azure to your infrastructure based on your typical needs, right? So you can deploy and run Azure services outside of Azure as well, right? So, but still, yeah, when it comes to management of those such services, you go to Azure portal and look at it, and you think of it as another Azure service, but typically runs on your infrastructure preference, basically, right? So this is, like I said, it could be multi-cloud data center, or it could be on the edge as well. Data center meaning another on-premise infrastructure, edge as well. Right, so you can innovate anywhere with Azure, especially with Azure Arc. You can build cloud native and operate anywhere. When I say cloud native, like I said, you can build applications using the cloud services. That becomes a cloud native applications. And you can harness data insights from cloud to edge. You can secure and govern across environments. Flexibly, you can meet the regulatory and compliance needs without moving them uh, to a different region or a cloud provider that is not recommended for whatever reason, right? So you can build and deploy application consistently across on-premise, multi-cloud, and edge environments. So you can use Azure DevOps across these environments for unified CI/CD pipelines. Basically, it is all counted as Azure resources. So you can streamline your CI/CD pipelines across those environments as well. Right? So you can manage and analyze data from any location with Azure Arc enabled data services. So you can enable real-time decision making by processing data at the edge and reducing latency reliance on constant cloud connectivity. So especially this works on the edge scenario. So if you have an application that gathers numerous insights, you can apply all the analysis on your edge, basically real-time decision making processes at the edge, and then push the consolidated or the limited data that you really want to the cloud. Right, so you can extend Azure's security governance and compliance tools, right? So like Azure Policy, Azure Defenders to all your resources, no matter where they run, right? Be it on Azure, of course, by native, it does support it. But if the resources are running on a different cloud provider or on-premise or a data center or an edge environment, you can still use Azure policies and defenders to manage all your resources. So, I mean, to securely govern your resources, right? So you can gain a unified view of your entire IT environment for better monitoring, threat detection, and incident response. So you can typically address complex regulatory requirements by keeping sensitive data and application in specific location while still benefiting from Azure's innovation. So we'll dig a little deeper into each of these areas, right? So when I say build cloud native and then operate anywhere, basically you can build and modernize to cloud native apps on any Kubernetes environment, right? You can then when your Kubernetes environment is on a specific infrastructure, you can bring them onto Azure Arc and manage and monitor and govern those infrastructure. And then you can bring cloud data management to any infrastructure, right? So cloud data management is enabled with the help of Azure Arc enabled services. That includes SQL Server, Postgres databases. It does support numerous things, but yeah, I mean, Microsoft keeps adding more to it, and you can look at it in a common way of like, how you can govern and manage your resources. Third thing is, you can consistently apply your GitOps and policy-driven deployment to on any Kubernetes resources. Like it could be, like I said, Kubernetes cluster, which can be on-prem or a different edge environment or a different cloud provider. So you can integrate Azure's security governance and monitoring into your DevOps toolkit as well. So moving on, next thing is harness data insights from edge to cloud. Basically you can accelerate innovation via cloud data and AI capabilities to build next gen apps and gain fast and continuous insights. They can improve operational efficiency, reduce IT overhead through cloud automations and consistent management. You can reduce the risk of exposing your application security and then apply whatever data governance that you want to apply on top of it. Right. So secure and govern across environments. Right? So you can harden your overall security posture to detect threats and to protect your workloads. Like I said, you can apply all these Microsoft security and governance services to your non-Azure resources as well. When I say non-Azure, like I initially said, it could be on any cloud, it could be on-premise, or it could be an edge environment as well. So, for example, Microsoft Defender for Cloud, Sentinel, and then you can have Azure Monitor to monitor your resources. You can apply Azure policies to apply certain policies to your resources across the IT infrastructure, irrespective of the cloud infrastructure they are on. So you can make sure like your applications are proactively detect, diagnose, and resolve issues, and then you can monitor and ensure that this happens on an automated fashion, by the way. And then you can conform to key compliance standards and enforce organization policies. If your applications that needs to follow certain policies or governance models, you can obviously have Azure policy to help you to apply those policies to your non-Azure resources. Moving on, you can flexibly meet regulatory and connectivity needs. You don't have to, bring those data to the cloud if it has certain residency and sovereignty related restrictions. You can simplify the edge computing. Like I said, push minimal resources or data or real-time insights from your edge use case and then govern it effectively, right? So and then it can be fully or intermittently connected. When it comes to edge environments, the problem is the cost of the access, right? So it has limited availability of internet, and you have to make sure you are respecting to that limited availability and not really monitor it by utilizing the complete available internet access to those edge environments. So yeah, those are something that Azure Arc can help you to like effectively meet, right? Moving on, IARC, like I said, it's a solution that we built on top of Azure Arc. The bottom layer is Azure Arc and the relevant Azure services that we just discussed about, be it Azure policies or using the respective Azure services that can effectively help you to build and modernize a specific infrastructure, which is spawned across different environment, right? So yeah, this is what IR can do. It can manage and govern all your edge computers or virtual machines. It could be physical computers on the edge or virtual machines on different servers located on different centers. It can manage your Kubernetes clusters. Any application that you build and host it on, containerize and host it on Kubernetes, we can manage them and manage and govern them. We can connect to SQL and Postgres databases and PostgreSQL databases and manage them with the help of Azure. So the key features are overall, you can organize your resources in one centralized control plane, and you can monitor and manage those resources. You can ensure the security and access policies are applied to those resources. You can govern and make sure those resources are compliant with your regulatory standards. You can ensure operations or business continuity, irrespective of the location of those resources. So yeah, like I said, Azure Arc is the base layer for IARC, and it can connect to resources on different cloud providers. It can also connect to on-prem service or hosted services, wherever it is, right? As far as they have at least limited connectivity to the Azure services. Those are all on a high level. These are all the key features of IARC. Like I said, when it comes to organization and inventory, you can organize the resources based on your typical infrastructure governance needs, right? So you can organize them based on your customers or your different accounts or group or support centers. You think of it like you have a global support center that you have to monitor, and that's a support center's job is to monitor those infrastructure. And you have different support centers across different regions. You can organize them in a way that IR can help you to limit access to certain team. Let's say if there is a team that's working out of Europe, out of India, they monitor the resources that are supposed to be monitored by them in a specific region, right? It could be based on shifts as well. So you can automate onboarding on scale. You don't have to go through each and every servers and onboard them. We can just provide the instructions to IARC, and IARC will onboard them based on whenever they are available to connect. And then you can have a customized dashboard that can show the status of all the resources. If you have any application data, specific components to be discussed, to be displayed as a dashboard. Let's say if you have certain applications running on Kubernetes clusters, if you want to know what the application version is, how many of them are compatible, if you want to know whether there are any outdated applications running. So all this can be done. And you can view and track by attributes. You can put your own attributes to each of those resources and track them. When it comes to management and monitoring, key feature is the health monitor, right? How effectively can you monitor the health of your resources? And you can track those inventory historically. And you can configure alerts to get notified if there is a specific or a critical event occurs. Let's say if I'm monitoring like 100 machines, which has applications hosted and running on it, on the edge. I want to make sure that the machines are up and running. They don't fail for whatever reason. That decides my business situation, right? So it can affect us effectively. I mean, from the cost perspective, it would affect us badly as well. So you can configure email and SMS alerts for such events. Meaning, if I say, let me know when the CPU usage or disk usage is going above 80%, I want to get notified so that the support team can look into those infrastructure to make sure everything is running good, make sure it has enough resources to handle the application load, right? So you can restrict access to those environment and limit monitoring commands only. Let's say if you have a bunch of Linux servers that you have to monitor, all right? So you can restrict your team to run only specific set of commands on those infrastructure. If you give them access to those infrastructure, they are going to run anything they wish, and anything could happen, right? So When it comes to enterprise in production environments, ensuring that access is limited, but still monitoring is done effectively is something that could be tough, whereas IR can help you to do that. Um, Security and access management, like I said, you can limit access to those resources. You can automate or schedule credential rotation, or if you want to make sure you're applying certain policy to those infrastructure. So all those can be automated or scheduled. You can enforce robust principles, role-based access for application components or data. You can apply role-based access, and you can adopt least privilege access model with the help of Azure. So on the governance and compliance, you can have your centralized policy management here. You can automate central policy enforcement, monitor compliance in real time, and then you can make sure your role-based access compliance is also met. When it comes to operations and business continuity, now you can monitor your infrastructure without manual intervention. You don't have to have someone to get into a specific infrastructure and look for logs or look for certain files or changes and understand what is going on. Rather, you can capture them on Azure Arc, and IR can help you to monitor and manage them effectively. So that's where business continuity becomes critical, where you can enable 24/7 governance model and with proactive monitoring and alerts for potential issues. You can also schedule for backup aspects. So if you think of all these different features of IR, one way or the other, they are powered with Azure services. Example, backup and disaster recovery, Azure backup services. Anything related to role-based access is again an Azure service. Anything related to alerts, email notification, Azure communication service. So basically, iArc is a complete bundle of Azure Arc powered by Azure Arc, along with other respective Azure services to meet the governance and monitoring needs. I'll show you a quick, simple demo of IR, that could show you how effective Azure Arc is. So this is a login page. I'll quickly log into. I'm just running a local version of this tool, Installation IR. Uh, it's a custom application built on top of Azure Arc. Right. So just to show you a context of how effectively you can do this, right? So we have few sections called missions, SQL Server instances, clusters meaning Kubernetes clusters. So as you could see, we just onboarded a few machine to Azure Arc and then started monitoring them through IR. So to begin with, like I said, the key aspect of monitoring resources is their health, to make sure whether the health is good or whether the resources are performing as they are expected, whether the infrastructure has enough resources for the application demands. So this is an overall example of a simple a Lenovo machine based out of India, and as you could see, there are a number of health metrics that you can monitor. For instance, CPU usage and available memory. It also can pop out alerts when the machine are exceeding certain limits. So this is you can look at them on different filter levels, and if you switch to changes. Again, give you a brief, just to connect you back to the Azure services, right? So Azure Health Monitor, the health is monitored with the help of Azure Monitor resource service, basically. It can monitor your non-Azure resources as well. In this case, this is a different machine on a on-premise infrastructure. It can manage all the health and it can govern the health of the resources as well. Right. So again, you can another feature is change tracking. So when I say change tracking, you can keep track of what are all the changes that are basically happening on your infrastructure or a machine that you're trying to monitor. Right. So if you look at it, a specific Windows service has been modified. The previous state of that service was stopped and the current state is running. So this should show you not just by uh, not just the Windows services. It can also show with respect to softwares, right? So if there are softwares that are added or modified, if there are files that are being modified, basically, right? So you can think of it in a way that it can keep track of changes on your infrastructure, right? On the since this is the Windows machine, you can see Windows services. Imagine it could be the same for your Linux environment as well, right? In Windows, it's Windows services. In Linux, it would be daemons, right? What are all the services that are running or installed on my machine on the on-premise in India, right? So if you could see, it keeps track of whatever services that are running, and it also shows the status. And IR can help you to make changes to those services as well. Let's say if you want to restart a specific service for whatever reason, you can restart them. Or if you want to stop them, you can stop them. You can start them as well. So it's not just one way of reading whatever is there on the infrastructure and showing it here. Rather, it's two way, right? You can make changes from your remote location as well, right? So yeah, it can manage the Windows services end to end. And when it comes to software, similar thing, right? Think of similar way as Windows services. If you have to, these are all the different packages or softwares installed on this machine by the last 24 hours, right? So you can think of it in a way that you can add and remove software. You can basically check whether a specific package or software is installed. You can make sure if you have a specific application update or security updates for your Microsoft Defender is installed. You can check from all those perspectives from a remote location. You don't have to go to the infrastructure or do a remote connection to that infrastructure to do this. Most of the time, remote connection to those infrastructure is not allowed due to security reasons. They are pretty much restricted, but with the help of Azure Arc, you will be running certain agents on your infrastructure that will populate all those metrics that you are looking for and push them to Azure. And then you don't have to open up your infrastructure to the internet. Azure Arc agents can take care of it. When it comes to agent, there are a few agents like initially said. Azure Connected Machine Agent. So that's the machine agent that helps you to connect your virtual machines or physical machines to Azure Arc. Once they are connected, you can add other agents on top of it to enable your specific needs. For instance, health monitoring. You can enable Azure Monitor agent to monitor the health of those environment, right? So similarly, there are a number of agents that you could run, but think of it in a more generic way, right? So when it comes to softwares, again, let's say you have your organization has specific versions of softwares that are restricted. You can do that with the help of a managed model like this, right? You can allow users to the people who are monitoring the infrastructure to install only permitted softwares to them, and you can also delete certain softwares from these machines as well, right? So when it comes to files, again, if you have applications hosted on these machines that are very critical, and let's say if it has certain configuration files that you want to manage, or if you have the whole path for that matter, like you want to manage, you want to make sure no one is touching that file, the file is not getting overwritten for whatever reason, you can track them with the help of Azure Arc, basically, right? So you can track specific path and then make sure there is no changes on it. You can also get the changes of those files. Let's say if there is a text file, be it in whatever file format, as far as it's readable, you can understand the before and after values of it as well as you do on Git, right? Let's say whatever files that you modified, you can view the difference, right? So you can do that with the files as well. So it does keeps track of the values of the file before modification and after modification as well. Like I said, extensions, you can add numerous extensions to those resources as well. So this is on a very high level, right? So you could have any needs for your management and governance perspective, right? So you can apply all of them with the help of Azure Arc, and iArc is pre-powered with Azure Arc and all the other respective Azure services. So moving on, like I said, not just machines, right? It can also Azure Arc also has data services that can help you to monitor your database instances, right? So as you could see, we did it connected a number of SQL servers to Azure Arc, and each of them have a number of databases. We can look at the status of each of those databases, whether they are connected or not. You can look at the properties of them. You can even also apply policies on top of it, right? So this is for SQL, like I'm showing. You could apply the same for PostgreSQL as well. So management and governance is the key aspects. And again, coming to cluster management, like Kubernetes cluster, very important to monitor Kubernetes cluster, right? So it is typically hard for you to manage Kubernetes cluster unless you connect to it through certain medium and then run your kubectl commands to populate and act on them. IARC has the capability of connecting to your Kubernetes cluster once they are connected to Azure Arc, right? So basically, Azure Arc can help you to view them, look at the properties and all, but IARC has the additional capability of getting into the Kubernetes cluster, even though that Kubernetes cluster is not exposed to the internet. Let's say if you have a Kubernetes cluster running on Azure, I'm just coming back to Azure, basically, right? Even if you're running an AKS instance, which is specifically protected within a subnet, which has plenty of network restrictions to access, you can still connect those Kubernetes clusters to Azure Arc and manage them, right? So that way, like I said, IARC has one step ahead. Like it can get into your Kubernetes cluster with the help of the connected cluster on Azure Arc perspective. So if you look at it, I just opened a Kubernetes cluster. It has a number of namespaces, and if you get into a specific namespace, you can get to know what are all the different objects that are available as part of that namespace, and you can drill down and make changes to those application components, like your Kubernetes objects, basically. It's still loading. Give me a minute. Let me quickly. One second, I'm just going to check if my this is running. Give me 1 minute, please. Yeah. Yes, it's all running. Maybe my local resources are not good enough to scale. Let me try relaunching it once. Yeah, okay. Um, so if you know about Kubernetes, you should be able to relate them here, right? So it can show you the basic attributes of the namespace. It can show you the list of deployments on each of these. You even get the YAML of your namespace. So all these are with the help of Azure Arc again. Just trying to show you, how effectively you could do that. So if you get into a specific deployment, you'll get to know what are the different parts, or the status of them, as you use any tool to monitor your publicly accessible Kubernetes clusters. But this is powered by Azure Arc. Right? So containers and conditions, you can check all of them. You can even get the YAML. You can even look at the list of, I was looking at the namespace level. You can also go to deployments directly. You can also look at your configurations and make changes to your configurations with the help of Azure Arc. For instance, if I go to any of these configurations, you could see, there are different configuration files that are being stored. So you can update your configurations. from Azure Arc, from iArc itself. You can even create configurations and apply them. You can see services, like I said, these are all different Kubernetes object. You can even, like if you want to make changes to your infrastructure, just simple and plain, you can apply YAML content here and IR can help you to run this YAML on the Kubernetes cluster that is deployed on your infrastructure. So those are all like on a very high level of how cluster can be managed effectively, even though it's not available to the internet, even though it's on a different cloud provider. Azure Arc can help you to do that, and IR can help you to do even further by connecting to the cluster directly. Right. So this is on a very high level, right? So these are all the different features of IR. So yeah, like I said, we built IR powered by completely Azure services, no custom services or any custom tools that we basically use to build it. It's all Azure, and we do have a different version of IR. Like I said, since we built it on top of Azure, utilizing all the Azure services, we do have Azure landing zones. If you want to try them out, if you want to try IR, we do have Azure landing zones that you can simply run and spin up the respective Azure resources and try out IARC in your environment by connecting them to different resources. You can get the scripts to connect on onboard resources at scale. Will give you the respective configurations to monitor the health of your infrastructure on the basic free tier version of it. When it comes to the key features, obviously it's part of the premium version. Like I said, you can have your customized dashboard. You can organize your customers resources by the customers or different groups you want to do. You can enable historic change tracking. You can customize your email or SMS alerts. You can have centralized role-based access, execute like, management scripts remotely. So executing management scripts is one of the key needs of monitoring the infrastructure. So you want to make sure the monitoring team is enabled with the required access to monitor the infrastructure effectively. But at the same time, you want to limit them from using certain scripts, right? So in this way, IR can help you to have all the scripts preloaded for any infrastructure. Let's say if it's a Linux infrastructure, it comes preloaded with a number of read-only scripts that can help for better governance. Until unless the user has certain privileges, it won't allow you to make changes to the infrastructure, right? So you can do the management of those scripts remotely as well. You can have historic audit logs, proactive monitoring features, customizable backup and disaster recovery. Backup and disaster could be on the resource level, meaning if it's a virtual machine or if it is a physical machine, if you want to manage the backups, yes. But if you want to do it from the application or specific service or component running on your machine, you can still do that, but with the help of IARC. IR can step into your machine, take a specific file as you request, keep it as a backup. Let's say if you have a critical application running on an edge infrastructure, you want to take backup of configuration file or a local simple database file. If you want to do all those, you can do that with the help of IR. IR can do backup and disaster recovery on application or component level inside of your resources. You can manage all the resource components remotely, like I was showing, whatever software and services in machines, Kubernetes application components, and database components. So those are all the two different feature comparison of IR in basic or free tier version versus premium. Yeah, one example, one of the success story that we did is age management for one of our largest customer in the energy industry. So they are one of the top two leader in the oil and gas industry. So they have use cases like they have edge machines located on the oil fields and wells and rigs. So those edge machines are capable of hosting certain applications that were built by them to monitor or to connect to the let's say sensors or different systems in the field, right? What is difficult for them is monitoring all those machines and managing the machines was tedious comparing to a remote solution where they can just sit on one place, make changes to those infrastructure, and then don't no need to worry about what is going on the field, right? So before building the solution, they end up with um, asking someone on the field, be it technical, they could be technical or they could be non-technical, right? They might end up being there physically into the machine and then make changes to. After building the solution, they're able to just make the changes remotely. So it's just sit here in the office in US and then make changes to the machine located somewhere in the edge, which is an oil well or a field, basically, right? So um, another use case that they had was, the applications running on the machine. If they want to take periodic updates of specific application components, be it configuration or data from edge, respecting to their internet was tough. IARC and Azure Arc helps them to do that. And another use case is I was telling about different applications running on those infrastructure, right? So these infrastructure has to be updated periodically when they have a new version of their application. Let's say if their installer is like about 2 gigs, right? Transmitting them to remote location, which has very limited internet availability, is very challenging, right? So we end up building the solution for them that can basically pull all these installers respecting to the internet to the edge infrastructure. And then once they are in the edge infrastructure, IR can run those installers and then basically run the installers on those machines and get the log files out of it, give them back to the cloud. So rather than trying to ship, let's say if there is a 2 gigs or 4 gigs of installer, putting it on a storage device, shipping it to a edge location, have someone physically sit in front of the machine or whatever the resource that they have, plug it in, run the installer, troubleshoot it if something goes wrong. We avoided all of them with the help of Azure App, right? So IR has that capability as well. They can move your installers from here to there and respecting to the internet as well, and then run or do the updates that you're required to do. So this is one of our success story where we helped one of our customers to build the solution uh, powered by Azure Arc and IARC. So yeah, that's pretty much for today. We just have 5 minutes left. As a closing note, I would like to, in case if you are interested to work with iLink uh, with respect to any of these Azure resources, you can always reach out to us. So this is you can reach out to this email that I'm sharing, azurepractice@ilink-digital.com. So what we can do is, to begin with, we can help you with an envisioning workshop pro bono, meaning no cost on you. It's pretty much on iLink. We can connect your desired business outcome and possible solutions. We can do a envisioning workshop for you or for your team, and then we can build a proof of concept. Again, this proof of concept will be technically pilot funded by iLink in partnership with Microsoft. So we will take care of building that proof of concept. If you have a specific ask in terms of, I want to do this, I don't know how it can be done, we can help you to build that into action and with the help of iLinks and Microsoft funding to build the proof of concept. And yeah, if you once the proof of concept is good and it's all approved, or people are convinced with respect to how effective Azure resources can be, you can move them to production. And for that also you can leverage funding from Microsoft. Like I said, iLink being a core partner for Microsoft, we have a lot of partner-led funding as well, specifically available to partners like iLink to build the solutions and then move them to the production environment. So we do have ability to get funding from Microsoft as well. But yeah, it all depends on several other criterias on your eligibility or the solutions eligibility as well. But we'll help you to progress through that as well. So in case if you have specific needs or an idea that you want to implement, please feel free to reach out to us. we can help you to take from idea to production with the help of iLinks and Microsoft's funding opportunities. So yeah, thank you so much for joining. We are open with the Q&A. If you have any questions, you can post it on the Q&A box or chat. Um, I'll be here for another 10 minutes probably. You can start posting your chat, and others, if you don't have any questions, please feel free to drop off. Thank you so much for joining us today.